welcome to another episode of the Four Jobbers Podcast. I am, of course, one of the four jobbers. I'm Ginger Heat. I'm the orange one. It's pretty easy to tell which one I am. But if you're listening to this, we also have a YouTube version. You can actually go and see it for yourself. Otherwise, you just have to know me by my voice. But there is a voice that you'll probably know better. And if you don't know it, you'll come to know it and love it just as much as we do. He is the Body from Kirkcaldy, Jordan Deves, all the way from Scotland. How you doing?
That was actually incredibly difficult. I don't think I've lifted my arm that high for a good 24 hours now. But, yeah.
The man is the last one, but he is vaxxed. Let's go. The vaxxed. I think they're running a big push in Scotland, right?
Yeah. There's been a load of people kind of my age now, so yeah, late 20s, firing down to get some vaccination. But yeah, feeling better than I was earlier today for sure. I was kind of just a bit achy. You guys have all
Tired,
had your first dose, right?
Yes.
And are you?
Yeah.
Are you part of the Pfizer club? Or
Pfizer Club.
Yeah.
Except for Brad.
Pfizer stays in the freezer.
I, of course, am a superior being, and therefore
Brad
was
is an
deemed,
anti-vaxxer.
Moderna.
Oh.
What? Well, if I am, I mean, shouldn't you be congratulating me for getting the vaccine? I mean, I got.
Wow, you
Moderna.
gave up on
I'm
your
a
beliefs?
Moderna man.
No, I can't congratulate that. Okay.
Oh well, should we talk about born again Christians?
Ooh, Shawn Michaels.
Well, I don't know. Just
Shawn
where
Michaels,
are you at in your
greatest of
journey,
all
Jason?
time.
Exactly. Are you still on the path?
Always. Despite your best efforts.
My best efforts.
Wow.
Well, Jason, if you're wanting salt and sauce with that, give me an achai.
Oh,
Nah.
Oh, what?
Oh.
Jace, you honestly wait till you get to Scotland, mate. I'm gonna rip you a new asshole.
Elbow supper, baby. It's coming your way,
right
Jason.
Oh, nipple supper.
Yep. Ooh.
Whoa.
Huh?
Nice.
Exposure.
Yeah. Full on. Go and check out the YouTube version of this episode.
Jason just exposed himself. Please go watch it. It's gonna be our biggest episode ever, no doubt. And speaking of giant welcomes, we need to bring in the waxy
nipples.
snake, the gas station Waxel, the man with the biggest nipples on the podcast, the son of the dentist, the waxy snake.
Vax Mamba.
Have a nice mamba. Have a nice milk. He's the vaxxed mamba. How you doing, Ryan Waxman?
Well, I'm great. It seems like every week now I have more news about the Montreal Canadiens. Just last week I was saying they came back, or they were coming back to defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs in round one. Well, guess what? Another one's knocked down. Another foe is in the dirt with Raw Underground and the rest of the pish. The Winnipeg Jets are sweeping the laundry right now. Sweeping the laundry, sure.
What? Sweeping the laundry, let's go.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. But ça sent la
Back
coupe.
in the day when they had to hit it with the broom.
We're up in the round 3. Now we're waiting. We're waiting for the next victim. We are the Kings in the North. So I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Do you think it's beneficial? I mean, obviously the NHL playoffs are a grind, and they're extremely physical. They were out hitting us 2-1 in that
Yes.
series, so it gives a chance for some of our guys to rest. But, we've had so much momentum coming off. What is it, 7 straight victories now? So
yeah. It's a double-edged
A little bit of a
sword.
pause here, so hopefully we don't lose it.
You got to stay hot. You got to stay in the groove, because that's what's happened in Winnipeg. They came off a sweep. We came off a 7-game series. They had a week and a half off. And they came out flat, and they couldn't recover, so we just got to make sure the same thing doesn't happen on our end.
and now they're dead.
They're did what?
Dead what? Shout out.
Shout out to Massey.
That's right.
Let's go. And we have a haunted freak that we have not introduced yet. He's already spoken. You know him and love him. He is the enigmatic. He is the charismatic. He is the bizarre, the mysterious, the wonderful. He is Jason. Now, apparently he's Jason the Possessed this week. What's going on, Jason?
First, I have a question. Do they make swords that are only edged on one side?
Yes, they're called knives.
Of course.
That's not well, it's a knife. It's not a sword.
I mean, technically, if
A knife is a sword?
I think they mean
There's lots of
double
different
edged.
sword
As in
designs.
there's two like it's like Darth Vader's thingy. The
Yeah.
lightsaber has two. Like it comes out of both sides, right?
Oh no, that's Darth Maul.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
shows how much I know of Star Wars. But
Oh, so
I
it's a
think they mean double edged in that regard,
Really?
not as in like two sides of the of the sword are sharp.
You know, there's two sides to a coin.
Yeah,
What?
that's right. That's correct.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
Have a nice
possessed
day.
by Sasha Banks' doll. No, Alexa Bliss's doll, and that's the only way I can enjoy Raw. So I'm happy, and I'll stay possessed.
Is that your favorite segment of the week? Is that a little preview for your good?
It didn't make me want to break my desk, which another segment did.
With a giant
So-
sword. Yeah.
It's the break my desk segment of the week.
Hey.
And I'm not even
One
lying.
good-
When I
one
finished
broken
watching
desk.
it, I hit the desk. Like I wanted to break it.
Wow, that's amazing. They're getting emotion out of us, but it's just completely the wrong. It's not good heat, bad heat. It's just dislike of the content.
It's, I hate myself heat. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah. I have X-Pac heat for myself just for watching it. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, we'll get into that for sure. I mean, I don't know. Is there anything else you guys wanted to discuss? We had some banter going before this. There's been some crazy news in the world of wrestling, but outside of that, is there anything else you guys want to say to the world?
No.
No. Oh, tomorrow is the day that I pop open the first bottle
Oh,
of our beer, me and Massey. So I'm really excited. Hopefully, it tastes as good as it did when I was siphoning it from one bottle to another, the bin to another bin. Because
Maybe the alcohol content has gone down by now, and you're not
wow, we
drinking
added obviously
whatever you were
you
drinking
add
that
a
night.
little bit more sugar, right? To just that extra bit of fermentation at the end, just to condition in the bottle, and technically it might be a little bit higher as well. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going round for lunch, so I'm going to end up pished by about 4 p.m. off, my own supply.
How do you test it? Do you just put a stick in it and it tells you how much alcohol percentage?
You you have a like a hydrometer, so you put it in the content, and depending on how much it sinks, you get the specific gravity of it, and blah blah blah. You can work it out from there. There you go.
Math with Massimo.
Exactly. He's not very good at it. In Italian, he's very
So
good.
this is all practice to make meth, or is this just
I think.
a new hobby?
Yeah, I mean, we'll eventually get to meth, but we just want to take baby steps to begin with.
That's when Jason will finally visit Scotland.
I mean, with hair like that, Jason, you do look like you take meth. No offense, mate. But you're getting a haircut soon, so it's all
So,
good.
yeah, haircut booked. Let's go, Jason.
I'm only cutting the top though, keeping it long in the back.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
That's the move.
Like Brian Pillman Jr. style.
Not like Uso.
Yeah,
Oh, like Uso. Okay, yeah, fair.
but you're gonna shave the sides then.
I'm getting the Uso.
You get. I'd love for you to
I'm
go to
getting
your barber
the
and just go,
the
"Hey,
Jimmy
man, can I get the
Uso
Uso?"
haircut. Oh, it's Jay, but it doesn't matter according to Roman.
Ooh, nice.
Well, right now it doesn't seem like it does because there's some controversy in one of the good storylines, I would say, going on in wrestling right now. I'm still intrigued. I don't 100% know where it's going, but
Sure.
I'm invested in that story. What do you guys think?
I agree.
It's better.
Well, let's just jump into the news, Fog. Let's do it. Wax, what do you say? What's going
Well,
on?
it seems these days in WWE another week and more people are getting released, and this one's a bit of a shocker. I think we were all a little bit taken aback by at least some of the names on here, the timing. But yes, so WWE on Wednesday, last Wednesday, so right after we recorded last week's podcast, they did announce a new release of talent cuts. Once again, budget cuts being the cited reason, at least.
Reason.
Yeah, reason. That's right. And so here are the names: Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Lana, Buddy Murphy, or just Murphy, Ruby Riot, and Santana Garrett. So, obviously, there's some names that really stick out to you right off the bat. Like,
Yeah.
never in a in a good bit of time did you expect these people to be on the cuts? Yeah, what do you think? What was your reaction?
I think, like, some of them I'm not surprised by. Buddy Murphy, I think it's a shame because I think he is a good talent, and I mean, he had a match against Roman last year at some point, right? And he got a lot of hype from that because it was a really good match, and I was like, oh wow, who's this kid? You know, he's not just pumping one of the Mysterios. But then nothing seemed to happen, and he's just disappeared. So yeah, fine, I understand it. But yeah, Aleister Black, he literally came
Black.
out, kicked Big E in the face,
and then
all these promo packages, like
Well, a week
tons of
after
promo
week
packages,
after
and
week.
that's a lot of money
I think those
invested,
promos
right?
were for us to watch, and then we know why they released them.
evidently.
yeah.
And it's not his fault. It's what he was given.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly. It's weird that if you're gonna end up releasing the guy, why give him these cryptic promos? Why tease him returning? Why actually have him return? And then we got budget cuts.
You're about to start a feud, like, for a title, or at least you're in the title picture against guys that are vying for the title, and then you're cut the next day. Like, it's just, that's one of the weirdest ones. Braun Strowman, you know,
Because Strowman was making a
following
lot of money.
Huge,
Yeah,
huge
I
year.
feel-
Making a train load of money.
Train load. That's right.
Did they release contract numbers?
I think he was making $4 million, wasn't he?
He was making a lot. He was making more than he was being used, I think.
And they were making him into a cartoon character. It's an expensive cartoon every week.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Like, what would you have ideally, like, where do you go with that? Would you have released him, or would you have found $4 million worth of value? Do you think, like, he would have been in the title picture? Do you think he's more like a
hard.
Kane?
Kane was he's not. Don't even say those names in the same sentence. Kane's a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his
Kane-
place on the roster. I don't
Kane
mean
was so
should have been
versatile.
at all.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
He Kane was.
I feel like Braun was getting there. You know, I feel like they have a similar big man athletic thing going on, even though he's bigger and
Yeah.
stronger. But then they just went down this weird path of him being bullied. I think that's where it really started to go downhill. Where with Shane McMahon, like, you're in a match against Shane McMahon, which is
It was a
huge,
good match too.
but it's some
It was a
bully
good match.
storyline. Yeah, that's what I'm like. He's actually became entertaining. Like, do you guys remember what he was way back in the day when he first started with the Wyatt family? Right, it
man.
was not this level of matches that he's
when
putting
he
on.
first debuted with, he was the black sheep in the Wyatt family, right? And he had that mask on, and he would take, and you were like, who is this absolute machine?
And even the marks look it up, and you're like, he's a bodybuilder.
Yeah, fine,
so this
amazing.
is cool. Like,
this
it's
is
still
great. It's all playing into it. I love it. It was when he split from the Wyatt family, and I think he was on Raw on his own, and he just had like a run of beating jobber after jobber. In fact, it all started with like James Ellsworth, I'm pretty sure, and he just was on a run of beating these jobbers, and then from there, I mean, what's he done? I think he won the Universal title.
Yes.
Fine, right?
Yeah,
It's great, But he also won the tag
he beat
titles
Goldberg?
with a small child.
Beat Goldberg, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Who nobody beats Goldberg.
I think
Yeah, that's crazy.
creative. I don't think it's his fault. He was a good
No.
talent, and creative probably put him into a corner where he's not believable anywhere except the main event picture. But his shtick was getting real stale in the main event picture. The blood feuds they tried with him, as we saw with Shane, were absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
It wasn't working. They didn't know what to do with them. It really is. Creative has nothing for you, or nothing good for you.
That's a cool move. Did he rip
ripped
open the
open the
cage or something?
cage.
There's something that he did that was cool.
So,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's just, I think, I think Jason's right. It's by virtue of him just making more money than he's worth to the company right now.
Yeah, because the rumor is they're trying to sell, right? Or Vince McMahon is trying to sell, but I'm sure there would still be Shane or Stephanie or Triple H involved in leadership. I'm sure it's still at, I don't know what
Yeah,
level, but I don't know. It's a very weird thought as a lifelong WWE, WWF fan, to think about Vince McMahon.
Yeah, you always thought
selling
he would
I
go out in a
wonder
casket and then just hand it
Yeah.
over.
Casket match.
I wo-
it. Literally.
I wonder
Oh, God.
if there's part of that is the and this is only because you read an article and then it takes you to another article and another article and you get stuck in a hole of reading stuff. I wonder if they know that the content that they're putting out is not palatable for our generation and our age group, and maybe part of
Yeah, I
selling
wonder.
it is that. I mean, if you sell the entire thing, that means it doesn't need to be a publicly traded company anymore, right? So if you sell it to somebody, does that mean that that person has full control over it again and can change?
That's the interesting thing, right? Like, I mean, obviously they've made it look attractive. It's making more money than it ever has. It's on multiple networks. There's like
Yeah.
3 different networks, and all 3 shows bring in at least $1 million, usually every single time, guaranteed, pretty much. Like, then you have the online services that people are dying for.
All the
They just
merch
sold
and
everything
everything
to
like that,
NBC
like all
there,
the
like-
other content that they own as well,
Yeah.
from like WCW, ECW, all that stuff. Like, are we talking about all of that?
Video
as
game.
well? Like, it's a lot. How do
Crazy.
you value that? Like, it seems wild to me.
I guess because it's publicly traded, they'll have to do it along those lines. But even then, like, I guess he's just selling off shares. Like, I don't even know how that works. Like, how do you sell the company if it's publicly traded? Like, you're the chairman and stuff, so you just
I have
own the
no
most
idea.
shares?
Yeah, maybe he sells a majority share,
Like-
or something. I don't know.
for like a special price. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it works.
But
Jason, you're the
What?
businessman. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't. They didn't need them. They weren't. The minute they put those those choo 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 sound effects, that was it. Like, come on. And then they got them.
Yeah,
The
the
fans are
bullying
coming
that
back.
led
Go
to
out there
that.
and say a bunch of train puns there, Braun. That's a good use of $4 million.
Yeah.
$4 million worth of train puns. Get on track with Braun, and I'm gonna ram through the competition like a freight train. It's like, nah.
Yeah, we saw that before with Prince Albert or A-Train or whatever he was called at one
Oh,
point. Remember,
A-Train.
That was his big
Yeah, but
thing.
they didn't
Was
put-
he was a
yeah.
train. He was a hairy train.
They didn't
Was
put
it?
noises and make him say
No, they
puns.
didn't. No, they didn't. What about some of the others? Like, I mean, Lana. Are you surprised by that?
No, the only one I'm surprised with is Braun Strowman. Maybe Aleister Black, just because obviously they had that push
That
going.
push.
If it wasn't for that, then it's like, yeah, obviously he's gone. But I'm happy for both of them because they're both very talented, and it's just sad to see them crumble like that. Same
Yeah.
thing with a bunch of people that they kept, like Shayna Baszler, just gets destroyed every week, worse and worse.
Ricochet's still
and,
there.
Yeah, Ruby Riot's one who I'm happy for her in a weird way. I think she'll do great somewhere else, and she was being completely
Yep.
buried every week in wrestling. If you're a fan of hers, it must have been
Yeah,
horrible. She just goes out there, smiles, hugs Liv, and then they lose every
And
week.
it gets beat. Yeah.
Na, 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 and the music plays and they leave.
I'm pretty sure. What was it? Not this past week on SmackDown, obviously, but the last week that the Riot Squad were the Riot Squad, they got the jobber entrance. We
Yeah,
came back
that's
from
right.
commercial. They were already in the ring, so
Yeah.
that's when you know
Yeah.
you're kind of.
It's been
Yeah,
like that for a
It's
while, I
interesting
feel
though,
like.
because
Yeah.
obviously since this has happened, I mean, we've now had what, a week? Yeah, about a week. Yeah. There's been so much of Liv on social media, everywhere. I seem to see her photos on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm like, really? What? There's a big push for her. I don't understand where it's come from because they've got.
Like, I'm telling you, in the card world and the online card world, like Top Slam, she's number 1. Her and Alexa are worth more than anything. You could have a much less rare, much higher CC. Doesn't matter. As long as you have those two or one of those two,
It's
you
wild.
are set. Like, it's gotten to this weird point. Like, I don't know.
You know
like,
why?
yeah, Is it all a sexual thing? Is that exactly
right
is that
now?
what it is?
I would say so, just because Alexa Bliss is a horrible character right now and not wrestling, and Liv Morgan hasn't done nothing, and they haven't let her do anything, and except she had a match now, and it's,
I think Alexa is from
yeah,
before,
Alexa.
though.
Like
think
I
this
used to
has been
love
an
Alexa
ongoing
Bliss; she was
thing
my
for a while
favorite.
with her.
So yeah, there's a built-up fan base there from all her success earlier. But
NXT
I
and
mean, Liv
everything else,
Morgan.
yep.
I mean, me and you talked about it. You're a big Liv Morgan stan, and you got upset. Yeah, I don't really know what the deal. Like, she hasn't really done anything ever. I mean,
No.
maybe she can, but she just hasn't, and they don't give her anything to do.
Yeah, I know, and I know. Like you're spouting off saying like just tell me her best matches.
Yeah, you
just name
can.
them all right now. Like I'm talking about over time, watching her come up in NXT, the evolution of her character over these years. Right, it's not like she's just been here for the last few months.
You should be able to tell me
she didn't
something
just
that she's
pop
done.
into the Riot Squad. I mean, that's like saying, well, go back and like name. Actually, I guess I was going to say someone else, but because I was going to say Bailey, because that's like
You can name
Yeah,
Well,
she
like,
had one of
she's
the best
amazing.
matches of all
Obviously, she's the
time
best.
with Sasha Banks.
yeah. But I'm not like I'm not saying like she's the greatest wrestler in the world, but like you're burying her to the
I'm
point
not
where you think
burying
she's
her. I'm
garbage.
saying
Like you were
what's-
talking about, she's
Oh,
a
no,
horrible
no.
wresler.
No.
No, you
I'm
were
saying this is what
talking
she's
about
been
her
able to do
in those ways,
If they
and
give
that's
her
what I'm
a
saying.
garbage match,
You're underestimating her talent, and she's so stupid over. It doesn't make sense. And I'm not saying she should be. I'm not saying she should be put in the title picture.
Maybe
And
she
look what just
yeah,
happened
she
to her
lost
this
right
week.
away.
People are furious, and maybe that's what they wanted because everything online exploded with the fact that she got
so they
buried.
make her lose again.
And like, really, it should be like, she's still so early on in her career. Who cares? But I don't know. That was also weird. Weird to bring her out like that. Trout her out without a. Anyway, we can talk about this in the good and bad. Maybe it'll come up at some point. But that's definitely something that's crazy. But you're right. It's just, I hope the best for Ruby Riot in all of this. I hope that she's one of the people that I would personally love to see in AEW because I think
where else?
we want to see a darker, more hardcore side of her that she showed in NXT in something like a match against Britt Baker. Like, I don't. That's like a crazy match, a dream scenario. If you just let those two go, and let them talk, and let them do their thing, take the handcuffs off the WWE creative has put on, and let them go.
there's a couple of them
Anyway,
I'd love to
rant
see
over.
in AEW. I would love to see Aleister Black, or he might appear as Tommy End, perhaps. Was his name in the Indies. So, if I saw him in AEW, let's go. I mean, we didn't.
Where would you put him? Like, let's say you could have creative control right now.
Tommy
Just fun.
End, we'll call him Tommy End, right? He rocks up to AEW. He appears. Honestly, let's put him straight into it. I want him to come out, black mass kick Miro right in the head, and let's have a feud straight off the bat. Those two already know each
That would
other.
be sick.
They've been in the ring similar times. Yeah, let's go. I would love to see that. Love to see it.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know. Do I want to see Braun in AEW? Absolutely not. And that's maybe really harsh, but I don't see a place for him in AEW.
you don't want it to become like a not scrap pile, but like a recycling pile of
exactly, and that's it.
WWE
Like,
guys.
my worry is that it becomes what WCW was, just a place where everybody goes because they think it's greener pasture. And
What if he wrestled in Japan and
Perfect.
became like a giant monster
perfect.
Yeah, there could be.
Yeah.
there? I think that could be sick.
There could be a
I think
space.
it'd be a
Exactly, there could be a
spectacle.
space for that. 100%. And that could still cross over a little bit, right, into North America. I was saying he could be good on Impact, even actually,
Yeah.
because it seems like that's sort of right where they want to be. But
Right.
yeah, I kind of agree, and this is obviously without me knowing much about AEW. Is I could see Alistair there. And even Lana, right? Because Miro's there. I could see them
sense,
there
yeah.
way before I see Braun going there, for the exact reasons you mentioned.
Yeah. And then, obviously, I'll bring it up now because we're talking about it. We had somebody debut in AEW that was released not that long
Yes.
ago either. I will say, and maybe this is harsh, I think it was one of the worst introductions of a character into a new product. Like, first off, you start with Mark Henry coming out to the ring, who, by the way, didn't have any music as he came to the ring. That kind of annoyed me. I was like, why has Mark Henry not got a theme?
Weird.
Yeah. So he just comes
Anything.
out,
Give me
half
something.
cuts a promo, gets interrupted by Vicky Guerrero,
Yeah.
who just shouts, "Excuse me." She, by the way, doesn't have any music either. Gets into the ring, tells them to get out, and then just screams down the mic for a minute. And I actually couldn't understand what she was saying. And I was like, what is she saying? And then suddenly, Andrade, leave
Music.
alive. And I'm like, what? And then out comes Andrade, and I'm like, oh, okay, he also doesn't have any music. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? It was just really weak. If you're going to introduce a new character to your show, you need to, do something. Like when Christian first came out and they had that kind of outwork everyone and the kind of countdown thing that he had, and then Christian Cage appears. I was like, banging. He had nothing.
Also, who introduces you is important.
Absolutely. And
Like Vic, she's a heel. Annoying. Already, I'm like.
And maybe that's what they were trying to do. I don't know.
You try to get me like. But maybe it's good that I read about it first before seeing it.
Yeah, I just watched it and was like, I was a little bit surprised.
Yeah, and again, I'm not like he's not super over with me, so like I'm excited, but I'm also like, well, we'll see.
I'm excited.
Show me.
I think he's a really good worker, and when I've seen him in matches before, when he, not just the NXT days, when he won that NXT championship, I mean, I'm pretty sure that was the match that he wasn't supposed to win, but Drew injured himself, right, and he won the title. So he did pretty well there, but it was once he came up and you saw him in the kind of IC title picture, I really enjoyed him there, but I would just love to see him do more about him, and rather than being kind of chained down as they had him as like it was all about the fact that he was exactly
Mexican.
just up. Exactly,
Greatest
third
Mexican
generation
wrestler, Mexico,
superstar,
and maybe
just
it's
let me
a
see
push
him work.
marketing wise
Let
for
me see
that
him work.
demographic. I don't know, but that's what I wanted. Put him in a match or put him in a promo against someone. Have someone barking and have him bark at them. Give me some fire, but instead, I think they're just focusing on the fact that he's there.
Yeah, but
And
yes,
missed
very
opportunity,
exciting
like you're
to
saying.
see him, and we'll see
100%.
what happens in the coming weeks.
Did anybody else watch AEW?
No.
I watched NXT.
It's all good if not. Just curious.
Yes, I want to. Well,
Did
eventually,
we
when we
talk
get
about
to
NXT last week because we recorded a day later.
No, last week we recorded on time, so we
Did
didn't
we?
talk about last Tuesday's NXT yet.
We were also an NXT behind in our recap, but if you want to get everything back up to speed now, we can jump into it right now and then do some AEW
Let's
as
do
well
it.
before
Let's
we
do
get
it.
into goods and pishes, because I'm
They
excited
are.
because these are the two best shows going right now, is NXT and AEW, and I
All
don't know,
right.
so let's hear it.
NXT first, Max.
Sure. I'm curious to hear. So I think you've all watched NXT this week. Am I?
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, so obviously we won't do a full. One thing that I will mention this Sunday is NXT Takeover in your house. I know I will be watching, and we have 4 matches thus far declared. Probably another 1 or 2 will be added on tonight's NXT show, so we'll see what happens then. But let's go through some results. So one thing I think, and I think they did this intentionally, they definitely did this intentionally, is that NXT, if there's one word I can say for at least the beginning of NXT, chaotic. But that's the point. So we started out with a triple threat match. This was going to be, the winner of this triple threat match was going to face Karrion Kross at In Your House. It was Johnny Gargano, it was Kyle O'Reilly, cool Kyle, and it was Pete Dunne. And a great match, really even. Actually, it's funny because I remember thinking this when the match happened. We were just talking about how triple threat matches can be really tough to work, and you often have to have one guy thrown out of the ring so 2 guys can work, then the other guy comes in, another guy goes out. These guys actually did some really good 3-man wrestling for a little bit. But the big story in this match was the return of the gas station weasel himself. Adam Cole, baby, shows up and kicks the shit out of everybody. And the match ends in a no contest, in a total schmoz. So, what did you guys think?
I have some comments
Go ahead.
about this. The match itself was performed spectacularly. Like, the performers in the match, it was amazingly
3 of the
done.
best. Yeah.
Does it mean that I like the way they did it? Not really, but if it's that style, it was amazingly done, honestly. Like, I can't even shit on it.
I knew,
And
I knew
then-
that Jason was going to say that. I just,
Well, because-
I watched it after we spoke about the triple threat thing. And Jason, you've said before that it's not. I'm not getting at you because I actually agree with you. But you've mentioned it before, where you've got that style where it's like hit after hit after hit after move, and it's all choreographed perfectly, and it looks
Yeah.
seamless and beautiful.
Which is a
You're not a
spectacle
fan
to
of that.
watch, but
And I watched it, and I watched it back again just to be like,
But
let me just see if I understood how the match flowed. And I was like, wow, it looks beautiful,
yeah.
but it's not my style. You know, the whole thing that they did with like, they did like kick after kick, and then a roll, and then a miss, and then a counter, then a kick, and then a double kick or double knee to the head or whatever. I was like, oh wow, that looked amazing. And there was a cheer at the end of it. I was like, oh yeah. But they then just all got up and continued the match. It wasn't like there was a consequence of those moves, if that makes sense. Stunning to watch. But it is just a style that I was curious to see what Jason thought of it. So.
Yeah.
style to keep the attention of the
I guess
newer
that's
masses.
just what it
The young
is.
masses need that
But,
consistency.
I was
I think
impressed
so.
that the general manager actually cares when people interrupt in important matches.
Yeah.
With William Regal's face
Yes.
when he was coming out, he was
Yeah.
was fantastic, and he actually had security, which at first I thought was fantastic, and then as the night went on, just in the start of the show, you realize these security guards are horrible actors, and they're just pointing like, "Oh, please leave, please," and just pointing like, and it happened like with the Weasel, they had to kick him out, and then right after there was a brawl with the
Yep.
instantly after, and then they come out again. I'm like, these are the worst security guards ever, but at least you have some. It makes sense.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
it makes sense, and instantly you got people out there, and you're taking care of it. William Regal, I mean, what's his face? Adam Pearce, take some notes, you idiot.
Yeah. Mr. Regal. If there's one thing I like how everyone calls him Mr. Regal. Also, that just because I feel like he commands that. If this was not, in kayfabe,
deserves to be a
he's
sir.
that
It should be Sir
presence, and his facial expressions have always been good. When he was a wrestler, when he was always good. And yes, Jason's right. One thing I thought was I know,
Funny-
right?
funny
Who'd have
character is
thought?
so important.
It's
Weird.
that's why the entertainment portion of sports entertainment. I was a bit taken aback at first because exactly what Jason said. As they were dragging Adam Cole out of the stage area, you just see Ember Moon walk across the shot. I'm like, is this intentional? Is this just like someone missed a cue on the hard
I
cam?
think it might have been intentional.
I think it was. And so, yes, exactly. Ember comes out, calls out Raquel, who attacked Shotzi Blackheart last week, or the week prior, I should say. Raquel comes out. Bam, we have another brawl. More security comes out. NXT's off to quite the raging start. So, again, very, very chaotic. We did finally get a match with a finish, and we saw LA Knight, let me talk to you, versus Jake Atlas. I like him too.
He's my good of the
I like
week. I didn't know who this guy was. I'm like, that name is Rapug, and I had never heard of him before. And I see him come out, and instantly, before he even gets in the ring, I'm like, and I saw that he's doing a little program with Ted DiBiase.
Yep.
I'm like, this guy is the ringmaster, and there's a Stone Cold inside of him, and I hope that they let it come out.
What?
He can talk.
Yeah.
Yo, he can talk.
It's not just
man.
that he can
is
talk;
the
it's that
character. He can talk.
it
He
feels
can work.
like that's what he would
Like,
say. It
I'm
feels
so glad that
real
you're
when
seeing
he
him now.
talks. It's not.
He's
He has the voice. He has everything.
He's
And then he lost to a guy that didn't get an entrance. Who is that?
But Jake Atlas, he lost to Jake Atlas, but there is a purpose for his loss. Ted DiBiase was watching. He was trying to impress the $1 Million Man. Who wouldn't want to, of course? And it works into what is going to be a match at In Your House. It will be LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes. I'm sure there's going to be some higher stakes. It's right now billed as a blood feud, but I'm sure Ted DiBiase will be in attendance, will be there to see what's going on. Who should he ally himself with? Who deserves the $1 Million?
LA Knight, 1,000,000%.
He's a great heel. He knows how to talk. I like his theme song.
Maybe he doesn't need him.
What do you know about
I just saw a couple
Cameron
of those
Grimes so far?
vignettes that they did together.
Just
He's
curious.
also very entertaining. But LA Knight, like I didn't know who this guy was, and instantly I was like, this is the guy, for me.
I think it was on a podcast where I actually found out of him because I'd watched NXT and I brought it up with Wax. I was like, this guy's insane. And he's like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
This guy's been around for a long time. He's been a character for a long time. And
Eli.
He was
no idea
Eli
either.
Drake in TNA for a while.
Oh, yeah,
He
Jordan, he
was
also
actually a
supported that, yeah.
WWE
Yep.
jobber for a bit. Didn't work out there. Went
Man.
to TNA, became this big guy. Eli Drake, huge name.
Oh,
And now he's
yeah.
back as LA Knight. They really
Okay,
build
he's almost
him.
40.
Yeah.
Maybe not Stone Cold.
So maybe not Stone Cold, but he could have a nice little late run, honestly. Yeah.
AJ
I mean,
Styles
he's-
run.
He's got to come up
It's
soon.
not like he's
yeah, let's
green,
put him
right?
up
'Cause
soon
he
and
can
let's
talk,
get him a
he can
fucking
wrestle,
title.
Oh, he's
so-
great. Like,
Yeah,
why
AJ
hasn't he
Styles.
been
Just
more?
to
I
get the
wonder what
character
happened.
down, I think, first. Yeah.
Now that he's in WWE, he's got to learn the style, right? So
Yeah.
just like everybody else, he's been put through the paces down
I
there.
always
and
find it
learning
interesting
how to work
when
their way, and
you have new
No.
people
hopefully he'll
coming
be
into
up real
WWE. I always find it I always find it interesting where they get placed. So somebody like LA Knight comes in and goes straight to NXT, but we all kind of think that he's probably better than that. But then somebody else comes in and goes straight to Raw or SmackDown, and I'm like, oh, I don't really understand why that's the case. You know, why
It
is-
seems like you really have to be. I mean, unless I'm forgetting someone, you got to really be an all-timer. Like Samoa Joe had to go to NXT, Shinsuke had to go to NXT. And these are legends in their own right, right? The only guy I can
Yeah.
remember, AJ.
it was pretty much
Yeah,
only
just
AJ Styles.
And AJ
I mean,
is
Sami
one of the
Zayn,
best
Kevin
ever.
Owens,
So
it's just AJ.
I think at that, and he's
But
got
then
the
somebody
character. He's
like-
got the style down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then somebody like Mansoor
Yeah.
obviously was signed from
Sure.
Dubai or whatever. Amazing, great, but he had one or two matches in NXT dark shows pretty much, and then he's straight onto Raw, and I'm like, what? Why?
You're right.
We don't know the character yet, so I just think, yeah, probably, and I understand it. I
Marketing,
get it, but
money,
if you're the fan of the
demographics,
product, I don't
etc.
care about marketing.
Yeah.
I care about the story, you know.
Oh yeah, it doesn't make.
All that to
No, of
say,
course
I
not.
do like the storyline between LA Knight and Cameron Grimes.
Absolutely.
It's not violent enough for me to call it a blood feud, but I guess it is because it's not for a title. But it's interesting, and I think Cameron Grimes needed something to do. So
Jason, are you? Yeah. Are you starting to see the level of talent that NXT has now? Like, we haven't even gotten into the later stuff in the show, but the opening show, like those three. Then you have Adam Cole. Then you still have all of this to come. You have LA Knight is just sitting
Man, I
there
knew they
with
had
Cameron
talent.
Grimes just sitting
It's
there.
not- I
pretty
I
impressive.
didn't not watch because I thought they're talentless.
No, of course. No, it's more about, it's just, I'm not saying like, whoa, you're an idiot, you should have been watching. It's more like, this is crazy. Like, it's a good time to be watching
And
NXT
how bad the
because
main
of
product
how
is.
good this roster is right now.
Yeah.
I will get to something I wasn't as fond of, and it's going to be what is the main event of In Your House. So with all the pish, with Adam Cole, with that triple threat match that didn't finish, Karrion Kross comes out and says, I'm going to face you all. So it is going to be a fatal five-way. Karrion Kross, Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, and Adam Cole for the championship. And I agree, Jason, I'm not a fan of this. First of all, you know, Karrion Kross is a monster. He's built as a monster. It was a great promo between him and Cole. I will say that. That was good.
Yes.
Very good promo.
Nice.
How do they make me feel special? They ring the damn bell.
Fucking so good.
Karrion Kross was good too.
Yeah,
I was
no, they-
surprised. He's
They
That
were.
was sick.
They were. But I'm now convinced there's no way
I was
Karrion
very
Kross
happy with his
loses this
performance.
fatal five-way.
As you know, I'm a
There's
Marvel
no way.
fan.
I hope he destroys all of those little greasy weasels or whatever they're called.
Gas station.
Gas
There is
station
a way.
weasel.
Gas station weasels.
That was
There
the
is a way.
funniest thing I ever heard.
This gas station weasel could win, should win, in my opinion. It's an easy way to protect him, right? If he
Yeah,
loses.
I guess you can
and
if
send
you
him
want to put Karrion Kross to the moon, you can. I just think the only thing is unless you're doing
That's what I'm-
something
that's what
like
I'm thinking,
that,
but maybe
Karrion Kross is going to beat these guys, and then who do you have to face him? Finn again? Who else is there? Dexter?
LA Knight.
No, LA Knight, yeah.
No, Finn's got to go up too. Please.
Not yet, not yet.
Dexter. Ooh, Dexter, let's go. LA Knight, let's go. See, look at how many names there are. All of these guys could be in the title picture. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they should all be on the
There's
main roster. Let's
I can't
go.
get behind Adam Cole. It's not to say I don't think he's remarkable, but I just don't. I mean, he was face to face with Karrion Kross, and his intimidation factor was negative 100 when he's standing near Karrion Kross. He needs
Ozzy's
to.
favorite card of all time.
He looks
Comparison.
exactly like. It was Karrion
This is
Kross
not-
that called him a
look
gas
at-
station
look at these
weasel.
guys.
Right?
Yeah.
That was
Compared to them.
That was
I
so
think-
good.
Yeah.
I couldn't have put it better.
You know-
That's exactly what he is.
You know
He
who
is
I'm
a gas
reminded of
station
just
weasel.
on the physique of Adam Cole?
Whatever that
Kofi.
means.
And Kofi
Yeah.
switched from short trunks to long tights, and I think Adam Cole needs to make that change, and he'll look a lot less shrimpy. He probably could.
Also, I think he could
Yeah,
beef up a little bit,
Shawn
but you're right.
Michaels
I think
pants,
that's
or
good.
even
He'll
just
look like
even
Shawn Michaels
even
when
Edge,
Shawn Michaels
even
came
Edge
back when he
pants.
was 50.
We had
Gas
a
station
had
Shawn
a
Michaels.
debut on NXT. Kushida did an open challenge for the Cruiserweight Championship, so we had the debut of Carmelo Hayes. Not sure if they're going anywhere with Carmelo. Yeah, re-debut, true.
Well, he was already in NXT
Re-debut.
as a different
It's a re-debut?
character.
Yeah, that's true. He was. But, yeah, good match.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know, Kushida continues to. I like the open challenge that he's doing. I think it works for a guy like that. He's a great wrestler, so it's always a pleasure to just watch his matches. Jason, what do you think of Kushida?
I didn't see that one.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
But I liked I saw his entrance. It was
Ish.
pretty cool.
Yeah, he's
I gotta
doing
go
like
back and watch it.
Yeah, he's doing like the Back to the Future type motif, if you will. Yeah.
We knew he was going to win that match, right? So, yeah, if you're going to skip it, this is okay. But
Yeah,
definitely he's
exactly.
someone
We had
to
two
look
more
out for.
matches: Candice
reason why
LeRae
he's
and
champion.
Indy Hartwell versus Zoe Stark and Zeta Ramir. A win, by the way. Yeah, fine. I don't know if anyone had anything they wanted to say on that. It was all right. I like that Indy got the pin. I know that there's more storyline stuff happening with her now. Still not a fan of that, but
Is she like a space case, or like what's the deal with her?
she's
No.
love struck,
No.
or she's like in her
Oh,
head.
okay, 'cause I was like, why is she standing there like?
Yeah.
Was
what
it
is
this
that?
week? Yeah.
By his, he's
Yeah,
got
was
the
it
gaze
this week that we had the promo from
attracts
them?
people or
I'm just
whatever,
getting my
freezes
weeks
them.
mixed
And,
up. With the promo where she's listening to music and
Yeah,
it's like
that
power
was this
ballads or whatever. Yeah, like I understand it. I don't love the storyline the same as you guys, but at least there's a story that's kind of overarching
Sure.
over time throughout
Sure.
it. I would rather have a story that I'm not invested
Yeah.
in than no story at all.
Yeah.
I just don't really
Fine.
know. Yeah, I just don't know where they're
it's
going to
still
go with
better
this.
than everything on the main roster, pretty
Like
much, right? So.
where does it go? You're not going to have Dexter, and they don't have a mixed tag division, so they can't do something there.
Nowhere
It
good.
leads. Yeah. The only way
It's
it
WWE, it'll
can
just
lead to
disappear,
for-
and
or
it'll-
the thing
as if
can
it
lead
never
to for me
existed.
Is the breakup of the way, because
Scrap it.
she goes with Dexter, and then there's a feud, and then Johnny and Candice versus India. That's the only thing I can see happening.
Yeah, maybe, but I guess it's sort of
Hopefully
slow
not too
burn right
soon.
now. But yeah, we'll see. I do like the way, so I hope they stick together for a little while longer at least. And then our main event was MSK versus Legado del Fantasma. Again, great tag team wrestling. We kind of got a whole tag team hodgepodge because the grizzled young veterans tried to get involved, but Tommy and Timmy were on the scene quickly to dispose of them. Santos tried to get involved, but Bronson Reed was there and actually caused a bit of a distraction for MSK to get the win. A really, really solid main event to end the night. I was a little surprised. MSK, they're billed as faces, but Legado is definitely getting more cheers from the CWC. So I don't know if people are just not attaching to MSK right now. They don't really have a gimmick. They're kind of just like hyper young guys who kind of do flips. Yeah,
exactly.
The grizzled young
I think it was
vets
cool, and
versus
now
the
it's like starting
hyper
to
young guys.
There you go. So, what did you guys think of the main event? How did we cap off NXT
I want to see that. I'm
last
down.
week? Good.
I'm down.
It was solid, you know. Wasn't my favorite part of the show, but it definitely was not bad either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Again, it's similar to the opening match. A lot of very well choreographed moments and spots that when I saw them, I went, "Whoa!" Maybe I'm being really harsh, but it takes me out of it a little bit when something goes move into move into move into move. When it's so seamless like that, but it's not. It's a really unfair criticism because I do enjoy watching it at the same time. It's just not my favorite style.
Yeah.
My two favorite tag teams were like not involved in this match, but they entered it, you know, otherwise. So like these two I don't care for personally. So I was not invested in this at all. I want to see Grizzled Young Vets. I want to see Thatcher, and I want to see
Toothless
Ciampa.
Timmy.
I want to see Tommaso Ciampa, and I want to see Thatcher. Like those are the two tag teams that I want,
Yeah, just
and I want to see them
physical,
battle it out.
brawl,
But that's because that's my favorite
technical.
style. There's nothing wrong with the match. Yeah, it's great. But those are just like, yeah, you know, I love that. I know all their characters. Their characters are easy to get. They know their characters well. They've been together a while, obviously, Grizzled Young Vets, but the other two are just, they know their characters so well. They're beasts. And I like it when everybody knows their characters and the wrestling looks more real. You know, as real as it can be, mixed with some fantastical.
Exactly.
Whereas this is more about an out-and-out spectacle of athleticism and entertainment, and it's fast-paced and it's fun. And if you're there live, you can't tell me you're not having a good time, especially if you're a wrestling fan. Even if you're not, you're watching this and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what, you're leaving the show and I'm not going, oh, that sucked. I'm leaving it going, yeah, that was
fair.
fun.
Still amazing.
But I'm not
to
like
watch.
it's not my
Overall,
personal favorite
a
style,
solid
like I
NXT
said,
for
but
me. You know, not one that's going to go down in the history books, and I expect a bit more of the same tonight, being that's the go home show technically for them. So I think it's going to be just make sure no one's injured, stay the course, maybe add a match or two here for the pre-show or for just an extra match to round up the card.
Yeah.
Let everybody else,
They
so
can
many
just do
people, let them all
promos.
wrestle.
Yeah.
Let
Just do
everybody who's
promos
involved
this
in the main
week.
matches just
Exactly. So
banter
that
and stuff.
is
Give me
it. I don't know if
promos.
anyone has any last
wanna
things
hear-
to say on NXT. Jason, will you be tuning in for either tonight's NXT, whenever, or in your house
Yeah.
on Sunday?
Now that I know they're on the network the next day, really, I think, right?
I think the next
Pretty
day or the
good.
day after. Yeah,
That's
pretty quick
good.
with it.
So I'll watch the lead up show to the pay per view, and I'll watch the pay per view as well. I got to make sure my boy LA Knight gets the job done, or maybe it's better if
You
he
really
doesn't.
are
I don't know. We'll
possessed,
see.
aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
L.A. Night.
Jason's watching NXT.
What a guy.
He's got a
And I
a
really
horse
like Karrion
in the race
Kross, too,
and
to
in
be
NXT. What?
Yeah.
He's good. I didn't
What?
get it at first with him. It didn't resonate with me right away, but I see what they're doing with him. I see how they're trying to build him, and now I can appreciate it.
And it's great that he has a manager, and
Yeah.
the manager that he
Yeah,
has
100%.
obviously adds to
Agree.
the whole
Agree.
gimmick, obviously a lot.
All right, I will turn it over.
Bonk. All right, let's get into some
AEW.
Yeah,
Well,
turn over.
we already
in the
talked
offensive
about
zone.
the debut on
Shifley.
AEW. If I'm honest, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it this week because I don't think it was a great show. It was a good show and I enjoyed it. I think the problem that we have just now with AEW is they're mixing around their days because they're moving shows around and they're introducing a new show. Like this week it was on Friday instead of Wednesday, and this week it's the same. It's again on Friday, but Dynamite will go back to being a different day. It confuses me a little bit. It is messy, and for the fan it's quite hard to keep a track of when things are happening, especially when you've got other pay-per-views and stuff going on at the same time. But yeah, so some good matches. We had the Young Bucks versus Death Triangle's Pac and Penta El Cerro Miedo. Beautiful match to open the night. Really enjoyed it. Again, some of that similar style to what we saw in the NXT main event. Kind of spots and beautiful moments. I really enjoyed it, but again, there's a couple of it's not my exact style, but I did really enjoy the match. The thing that I find intriguing about this feud is the fact that Frankie Kazarian is still involved. Obviously, their tag team of SCU split up because they were defeated by the Young Bucks, but he seems to still be around feuding with them. Now it makes me wonder, are they going to do like one last chance to be a tag team, and they come back and have a match and they're able to reunite or whatever with as SCU. But yeah, interesting just to kind of see what's going on there. That then led on to the Andrade El Idolo segment, which we've already discussed, which led into a shocking match, in my opinion. I thought it was extremely boring. Cody Rhodes and big shotty Lee Johnson versus QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo. Just more Britain versus America, punch to the gut. I'm just not excited by it at all. I don't enjoy it. It's a shame because I really want Cody to do something.
No.
Yeah.
I thought he was done with the go-go, and then I see this, and then it ends up being that.
They didn't give Ogogo the win on the pay-per-view because it was obviously Memorial Day or whatever, and they wanted to show America. Fine. Yeah, I get it. But now you're going to give him the win after and then continue a feud that nobody actually gives a toss about. Yeah, just move on. Do something else. We then had a segment from the Inner Circle talking about the fact that they are not done with the Pineapple, the Pinnacle. And I love this because I want to see where it goes. But I also am kind of like, okay, what else can you do? I've just watched you beat the living shit out of each other across an entire stadium. What are you going to do now? So it looks like it's going to break. Yeah, it looks like it's going to break into smaller feuds, though. And
we all thought this was done. Also,
with Sammy Guevara and Sean Spears, Perfect 10. Yeah, fine. I'd love to see that. That'd be great. And
perfect.
Absolutely, and that was it. Jake Hager,
the two big lads shouting out.
Friend of the show.
Yeah,
well, one of them. But I'd like to see those two.
Keep tuned here because eventually, I'm sure you will see Jake Hager appear on the Four Jobbers. Please, Jake. Please,
Jake.
The Jobbers.
But yes,
open invitation
he did like
anytime.
our content on social media. So yeah.
Yeah, he's got to get in line after Devon, though.
But,
Devon's first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. This segment annoyed me. I'm not going to talk about it too long, but it did annoy me. Don Callis and Kenny Omega come out, and they're like, right, we've got some big news. we're gathering footage because there's a conspiracy to screw Kenny Omega out of the title, and it's big. We're gonna blow the world up with this conspiracy, and we're gonna show you all this content. And I was like, have you been watching another show recently, mate? What's going on here? Like, yeah, not great. It just seems far too close to Sami Zayn.
Very weird.
Like it. Have they done it deliberately?
It's exactly the same.
Do you know what?
So weird. Like, is he gonna have I don't know.
Do you know what? See if they steal it, right?
Why of all people? Why Sami Zayn's
giving? Logan Paul comes on.
Yeah.
I'll lose my mind. Like I just think that.
Yeah, they'll get Jake Paul instead.
Yeah, even that would just be great. I would love to see that because that would be such a good jab. But yeah, just a really weird segment.
That would be amazing.
The rest of the card, we had a tag match with Christian Cage and Jungle Boy. It's just good to see Jungle Boy. He's just class. Enjoyed the match, but it nothing to write home about.
Those two together is
Sting and Darby Allin again. More tag stuff. I don't care. Britt Baker does her celebration of winning the title. Love that, because we're going to get to see Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose. I do want to see that. I think that will be really exciting. I'm glad that she's doing something again rather than just standing behind, excuse me. So yeah, I'm excited for that. And what else did we have? Oh, there was another couple of matches, wasn't there? Red Velvet versus the Bunny. Again, just another match thrown in there to fill out some time. And we ended the night. The main event was the Natural Dustin Rhodes versus Nick Comoroto in a bull rope match. This was actually alright. I quite enjoyed it. I kind of expected that Dustin Rhodes would win in a bull rope match. It's kind of his gimmick, so it made sense. Yeah, it was a really good match, especially against a guy who's really
saved the episode.
Obviously, he's an absolute beast, isn't he? He is what
He's a monster.
Braun should be. Just
Jesus.
doesn't talk. It's just a beast. It doesn't go "Arr!" either. Just comes out and does what he does. You know, it was a good match. It wasn't fantastic, but it was a good, solid match for a normal, weekly house show. Yeah, a bull rope match.
I think it's like hard to make a gimmick match like that good, isn't it? Like a bull rope match, like those are not usually good. Like I'm sure they were way back in the day because everyone thought it was real.
What are those?
And then in the newer area, like I don't ever remember
weird
loving
kept saying,
one of those matches. But this was.
They better
this
watch
was
out
done
for
well. It
that
was
bell.
entertaining.
The edges of that bell are razor sharp. And I was like, are they? I've touched bells before. They're not razor sharp.
I think it's a double-edged bell.
What's he
Yes, a
gonna do with
double-edged
that bell?
Like, what? What are you on about?
Razor
But yeah,
sharp.
good match.
So dumb.
Bells are legal in this match.
Yeah.
Came here with bells on and they're sharp.
They're gonna be talking about it.
Other than that, it was an okay week. It's just kind of building some more stories. We've got a wee bit to go until the next pay-per-view. So, yeah, nothing more to say from AEW. So I think we should get straight into one brilliant, one pish, and let's talk about it. Jason, you mentioned perhaps your one good. Do you want to
No,
lead
my
us
one
off
bad.
with your one good and one bad?
Oh no, my one good was LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. Any more to say on that, or are we going straight to your bad?
Well, I feel kind of deflated that I said he's going to be the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I saw he's 38.
Yeah, expand upon
so I
it.
guess he's traveled the road. But this is his first time with WWE. I think I looked in like 2006. He had like a couple dark matches, but this is his first legit run. So I just think he's special and entertaining. Instantly, I liked him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him or heard him or watched him fight.
Yeah,
so
he hasn't
Dexter
wrestled
Loomis.
much lately.
He's not done much recently.
Yeah,
But,
LA Knight was good. He
yeah,
comes down to
go-
the ring
going
cutting
fresh,
down.
going
I think he called him like a cross-eyed freak or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was,
Good indie stuff.
it was good. He's a good
Sounded
talker.
like his voice sounds like a mix of The Rock and Stone Cold, like the
little bit.
voice tone itself.
Yeah.
Great talker.
Not his style necessarily, just like I don't know. It's a legit voice. You got that voice.
It's the
That
southern
voice.
accent a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Good wrestling voice with a southern accents just work for wrestling. Hey, what is it about them? Scottish accents and southern accents.
We'll
Both
talk
working
about
very
that.
well lately.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about
Nikki
that.
Cross. I love the new
Speaking
Nikki
of
Cross.
Her,
Nikki Cross with
my
Asuka and that
extremely break
yelling,
the table
barking.
bad for the week is sort of related to her. It was Charlotte at first with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville in the back saying what she was talking about. Oh, take that off my record. Take it off my record, that loss to Nikki Cross. And then in my head, I'm like, do they keep record of anything ever? And Adam
Yeah.
Pearce was like, oh, you agreed to the match. We can't take it off the record. Adam Pearce, what are you talking about? There's no record. You don't know what you're talking about. You didn't even know the match happened, probably. And and she's saying for it to come off a record. And they're like, we can't do that. Oh, we finally agree on something, Sonya. Yeah, we can't do it. So then
What is this leading to a match between Sonya and Adam Pearce? Like,
that couldn't get much worse than that, yeah.
yeah.
So then Rhea Ripley comes in and says, you know, I didn't feel so bad that I lost to Asuka. It wasn't, but I would like a rematch just to prove. Not Asuka, what the fuck? Nikki. And then they're like, their solution is, why don't you guys team up and fight Nikki? And then she's like, just Nikki? No, let me finish. Nikki and Asuka. Why just bury Nikki when you can bring Asuka with her and you could go down together? And then it's just the reaction was like, Charlotte's just like, oh, okay, I could agree to that. I'm a good sport, unlike Rhea. It's like, why agree to that? What's going on? Why is Nikki Cross running around like she won the title and she just lasted 2 minutes, and now they're gonna tag up to like, yeah, well, that's true. But hey, it means more to some than others, I guess. And yeah, so basically, when that segment ended, I just slammed my desk and I was done with it.
There you go.
Yeah, it sucks. I don't understand why they're doing this to Asuka.
All three of them, all
and
four of them.
Nikki. Like, Rhea and Charlotte have, they've got a pretty good chemistry. They could have a really good feud, but what they're doing is they're roping in 2 other great wrestlers to just make them look so weak. I don't understand. Yeah.
Why can't Nikki and Asuka just be fighting right now in their own thing? Rhea and Charlotte doing their
They're
thing.
kind of turning.
I wish there was
Nikki
I
Cross
always
into
say that I wish
Eugene.
there was another women's championship on the main
bit,
roster, and I think they're.
I mean, that's big. That's harsh.
I mean, the thing that I liked about all of this, right? That, like I was alluding to before, is the promo afterwards. I do, just because Nikki Cross is so funny, and obviously the Scottish accent adds to it so much. So having her just barking, I think is great because she can, and then having her interact with Asuka, like most Americans probably don't understand what either of them are saying, and it's just, I think it's great. I think them two together is really funny, and it was a funny promo. But everything that led up to it is god awful, and I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to see them together because I know what they're doing with them. I just wish, like, why is it so hard?
Why can't you keep Rhea
when you're putting
Ripley
this together,
away
like
from
you guys
this
say, is to
bullshit?
do
She's
two
the
and two
champion.
and have
Why
two
is she in
good
tag
feuds
matches?
and let them do their thing,
Yeah.
or make it these 3 fighting for the number 1 contender. I'll accept that.
But yeah, that made that. Oh, you know what? I'll give an actual good because that was just like banter at the start.
Pish.
What I'm trying to say. It's something. I wish I had my own sword, so I could. You know what? Maybe we better move on.
You're trying again, mate. What's going on here, like?
Lord.
After watching that Charlotte Rhea segment, I wish I had my own sword.
I wish I had
Drew
a sword.
McIntyre, so I could have cut the table in half, and that's my good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. He smacks the table.
It was actually pretty funny because
the
you
chopped
expect something
the
to
table,
happen,
and
like
Walter,
flip it or
the
something,
big
and then he
Walter
just cuts
slap
to
him
with
and
his-
break the table in half.
just cuts it.
Giant
What the
claymore.
Where did that come from?
Like, yeah, where was it? In his pants.
Maybe it was under the table.
Good thing this is here.
Oh, that's
Cuts
handy.
the table in half. A maniac. Oh yeah, you signed the contract. Okay.
Thanks for saying that. I'm going to rip it up with a sword.
What's he gonna do with
And
that?
it's null and void. Good job.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent. Who else has
And
got
sword is fucking
a good
dull.
and a bad for us?
Okay, I'm having trouble finding or thinking up a good, but I definitely
Waxy
have
Snake,
a pish.
give it to us.
A pish. It's not a huge one. It's just one that kind of bugs me, and it's one of those like little things. Because everything around this feud is good, and I'm very excited for this match at Hell in a Cell. But it's going to be Bianca and Bayley. I love the match. Going to be a great match at Hell in a Cell, I'm sure. Bayley is a great opponent for Bianca. It's a future good. It just I think it was a bit clumsy how they did it.
Future good.
With Bianca being like, "Yeah, I'm sick of your laugh" or something like that. Your laugh pisses me off, so I'm going to take you to Hell in a Cell and put my title on the line. Like, I don't know. I feel like the challenger should always be pushing for the match, whether it's a fighting champion, whether it's a wormy heel that doesn't want to give up their title. Yeah.
Or they're so mad
Yeah,
they
it's
have
like, okay,
to come
You
after them.
you
Not
laughed
like
at me. I don't like that.
You
Yeah, it's
insulted
on
me
the
a little
Braun
bit.
Strowman
I'm trying to
level
give you a title
right now.
match.
Like, you called me stupid, so I'm gonna put you in a cage match. It's I think just that it's gonna be a good at Hell in a Cell. I'm sure. I'm positive.
Is it a Hell in a Cell match? There one?
I think so. No,
it's not.
No,
Right.
never mind.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it will end up being, but from my understanding,
You're right.
I
You're right.
had to
It's a
double
match
check it
at
'cause
Hell
I
in a
was
Cell. That's still going to be a
the wording
fine
was
match.
very specific. It
Still
said,
going to
"I
be a
challenge
fine
you to a
match.
match at
But
Hell in
just,
a
I
Cell."
think there's got to be some other
I'm like-
way that they could have done this
Yeah.
to make it work.
Yeah. Put it in a
Just
cell
a
phone.
little bit nicer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just me. My goods once again, and I think we've all taken turns with this good, but it'll be the Riddle versus what's his name, Kofi Kingston match. Just a well wrestled match. I do like RK Bro as a tag team. This is a good that could soon become a bit of a bad. I'd like to see them get out of just doing singles matches. I want to see them more as a tag team. They were in that little battle royal, which was its own thing. But come on, give me RK Bro as a tag team. Whether they're up against the New Day, whether they're up against AJ and Omos, which I guess they won't be right now because we have a number one contender. But, if you're going to build these guys as like, oh, they shouldn't be tagging, but they are, here we go. Yeah. Put them in a match together. Don't just have them
They're definitely putting a lot behind them as a tag.
Yes.
I went onto WWE Shop and there's a whole section of RK Bro merch. Hoodies and t-shirts and different bits and pieces, and all of it is exactly.
Whoa.
So like they're obviously putting
with
quite
like
a
the
lot
scooter and the
into
snake.
them. So maybe it's a slow burner, and we're just going to see them becoming pals, and then eventually we'll get, I don't know. They're going to win the titles. They're definitely going to win the titles.
I hope. Yeah, I do hope they. It was definitely going to be my good of the week, but I think the best part of Raw was that whole opening segment. As much as the match wasn't the best, the opening thing was perfect. I mean, you're starting off the show with RK Bro. That's big in and of itself, and it's what I wanted to see because the rest of the show wasn't worth watching, so it's perfect. I only had to watch the beginning. No, just kidding. But they come out. All the other tag teams are already in the ring, and you're talking about some pretty spectacular tag teams, and then we get
I'm
AJ
okay with
almost
it.
to come out.
I'm okay with it.
Did Orton always have this goatee, or is this new? Like, what's this goatee situation with Randy Orton? Is like, is he trying to look younger? Like, I like it. Whatever's going
First of
on,
all,
I don't know what the reason is, but I like
It's a
it.
bro
So
tee,
good
not
point.
a
Yeah, I
goatee.
think it's good.
Bro tee.
Miz coming out as like this Professor X, like, yeah, go. Oh, it's the bro tee. Very good. I love the bro tee, and I think that's one of the few times I ever laugh out loud at wrestling is when these two are bantering together. Them two, you have the New Day, so you have some good stuff going on there. AJ and Omos, they made me laugh. Riddle just going on and on and on, nattering on for like that little while. I thought that was great. Like, just a really good segment, and obviously the RKOs, double RKOs, triple RKOs, like
the drip stick.
I thought it was fun.
I love it.
And even Johnny drip, with his
It
drip
is
into the
ridiculous.
side of his head and his drip stick that he's spraying on everybody or whatever. Like, just so ridiculous, and
Sure.
obviously it was so stupid, but I was fine. If you're gonna open up Raw with that, I was entertained for that, and definitely RK Bro is my favorite thing about Raw by far, miles ahead of everything else, except for.
Okay, well, that was it. No, that's all I got.
I'll save it. Was that a wax? Do you have
Okay.
some more? Sorry, no? Okay, cool. Go for it.
I'll
Jordan.
start with a bad.
I'll finish it off if there's
My
anything
bad
left.
is from SmackDown. Is it? Yeah, my bad is from SmackDown. It's such a small thing, but it really, really irritated me, and it maybe shouldn't irritate me as much as it did, but it did. So the first match we had on SmackDown was, of course, the Usos versus the Mysterio family. Whatever, I don't actually know. They're just the Mysterios.
Yeah, I think
Something
so.
like And then obviously the shoulder was up, which I actually loved, by the way. I loved that idea because it was obvious that his shoulder was up. It wasn't perfect. It was done so well done. Like, the shoulder was
Yeah, they filmed it
obviously
right
up,
angle,
and they're playing on it. I
shoulder
thought
up.
it was great. Really, really
We're
loved
all
that.
going, shoulders up, shoulders up.
So they then have a case to say, we want another match, blah, blah, blah. Fine, great. The camera cuts to the Mysterios as they're leaving the building, and they get to the exit, and apparently they're literally at the exit when they hear, oh, by the way, wait. And I was like, oh, that's ridiculous, right? I instantly knew they were going to accept that match because they still had their ring gear on underneath their other outfits, and that completely took me away from the segment. It did my absolutely nothing.
Yes.
Are you telling me it's really that difficult for them to get changed and then get changed again in a 2-hour show?
Or pre-record.
Or pre-record it, yeah. Like, it just
Apparently
really
it
annoyed
is.
me. The fact that the two of them
Yeah,
had their ring
good
gear
point.
on and then like
Get
a
there
vest
early,
and
we'll film
shorts
it, and
on
then you can rest for the
above
rest.
it.
Would,
I was like, nobody would do that. Nobody would ever do that if you were in a match and then you were leaving.
That's not the worst part of it, though.
The worst part. Well, what was the worst part for you?
The worst part is they're about to leave. They just defended their titles. They're getting chased by a professional out the door, and oh, you know what? The ref kind of fucked up. You mind going out there and doing it again? Okay.
Is it the fact that Dominic just
Okay.
goes,
Okay.
okay, yeah,
Okay.
you okay with it? Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
That's it. No, like, what do you mean? What I gotta do it
Who is
again?
this-
But
who is this
okay.
person?
His shoulder wasn't up. I had him down. I had
That's the
him pinned.
person
One,
that
two,
would tell you.
three. No, okay.
Like, are
Yeah,
you
it
sure? Like,
was-
did you guys look
Okay,
at the
Mark.
replay?
It really frustrated me. Just the whole thing
okay.
didn't make sense. It was just so poor, so poor.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Get them changed and then have them be like, nah, his shoulder's up. It's like, nah, we've got the footage, we've checked it back. His shoulder was up. The ref made a mistake. Nah, come on.
They could
have
have
to
dragged
do
it out for
Me-
weeks.
Yeah.
I guess
just-
it also brings you back to every other time they grab the tights or their foot's on the ropes. Okay, well,
Exactly.
where's
You
the
tell
where's the
them-
review for
yeah,
that?
where's exactly? I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with them doing it this time because it was so obvious.
100%.
And that's
You can't
because
do this
I think
randomly.
the workers,
So dumb.
you know, was it Jay that was getting the pinned at the time,
Can't
or
remember.
Jimmy? Doesn't matter. Like, it was so well done, but yeah, that segment sucked. I hated it, so it's my bad of the week. I'm going to move on to my good, and I'm sticking with SmackDown. My good, and it will remain a good until it becomes a bad, and I just don't think it will, is Pat McAfee. He's so good. He is. I watch him and I see his passion and his excitement, and it might all be fake, and that's fine.
It's really
but I
good.
see it, and I'm like, that's how I feel when I watch wrestling. Sometimes there's moments where there's something happening in the ring, and he's standing at the desk watching what's happening in there, and I'm like, I love it. I just love it. And then Boogs comes out and he's riffing away with it.
Yes.
He actually, what was it he said? I noted it down because it was my favorite line of all of wrestling. Oh yeah. So he turns to Michael Cole and goes, "Michael Cole, magic is happening right in front of your suckhole." And I just lost it because I think it's the best thing. He's obviously he's having such a good time with it. And the fact that I can see that he's enjoying himself, it
Jerry the
makes
King,
me
like in
enjoy
modern
the
day.
content. The content could be shit, but the fact that he's enjoying it, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is good. This must be good, you know. I love it. I think he's
And he
good
can go.
when he is being more serious and they're talking about what's happening through the match. He's got information. He's got stats and stuff that he occasionally brings, but he knows the moves as well, so he's able to comment on what's happening. He knows what's happening, and I just love it. And
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's an
in a
actual.
time
He
where
can
we
go,
seem to
right?
be
He is a wrestler.
hiring
He
and
knows.
firing commentators and moving things around and everything like that. I really don't want him to go anywhere because he's so good. He's so good. So yeah, Pat McAfee is my good of the week. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the
My bad
mysterious.
was the Mysterios.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Did you say your bad
Okay.
already? What was your bad? Oh, that was before. You said it first. That's right. Okay. My good of the week was almost. Actually, maybe I'll bring it up in the good. Let me just go through these, and you'll figure out whether they're goods or they're bads. All right, here we go. Obvious good. Eva returns next week, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to wait
Bad.
any longer.
Right into the
Eva
right into the
Marie
main event
next
picture.
Monday will be
To the moon.
Bad.
on Monday Night Raw. Finally.
Move over, Bruno
Give her a title
Sammartino. New record.
Sorry, Charlotte. You're moving over. Rhea, you're dropping the title night one.
I'm
on Raw. It's
interested
going
to
to
see
Eva.
what happens. I'm
Like,
Yeah.
interested to see.
I
what
don't know where she fits.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Let's
We'll
see what WWE does with this. Exactly. We're all excited to see what happens. Jason, I thought this was going to be your good of the week. Shayna and Alexa and the doll stomping and all of that and everything they're
whatever
doing
room
there, hiding in the room, the
Shayna's
lights,
being
the
trapped
doll
in, they
behind
should
her.
just make sure she stays there.
How do you feel about
it? If she gets out, they're gonna ruin her career more and more. So she should just stay where she's at until it's all
Really,
over.
I didn't mind it. At all. I thought it was all right. Like, it's the supernatural thing that I know Wax isn't a massive fan of, but I think if they were going to do anything with
That's
that
okay.
and roll with it just now, because that's Alexa's character, I think Shayna's doing pretty well with it. The fact that she kicked the mirror, destroyed that like, it looks real. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I would rather
It was
that
interesting,
than
right? There's
what I'm
stuff
seeing with
happening.
Nikki
It's
Cross just
curious.
I
all of those
like
things,
that
right?
Shayna's the one that's going to seemingly go up against Alexa, if that's what we're led to
Against the
believe.
doll.
I still not a fan of the delivery. I understand what you're saying, Brad, with things are
Yes.
happening. Not always a good
Literally.
thing. Not always a good thing
Yeah,
when things
really.
are happening. This is just, I don't know. It's still not there for me. I still am not. Sure, that's fair. Yeah.
I was happy that Alexa Bliss threw punches. She actually got her to the point where she threw some punches. So that's like, in and of itself, I thought that was probably the
Brad
highlight of
and
the whole
Randy.
segment.
Brad and
You know,
Randy.
she's back to fighting. So that was good. She's not riding Randy, but she's throwing punches again. So that's always
He's
good.
so good.
I mean, obviously, Boogs, everything about Boogs, I love so much. He's going to continue to be a staple for me, and I hope that him and Shinsuke can do more and more and more because I think he's awesome. I have to
That
shout
was
out.
really
that
good.
was
You understand my position, Jimmy? I'm Jay. With the way things are going, it doesn't matter anyways. That line,
I-
Jay.
I
What the
like
fuck?
this. I like
Perfect.
this. But
so sick.
why does he interfere in the match? I didn't quite
Like, he
understand
knows.
that.
It's like, oh, Jay. Mm-hmm.
I think
Sure.
because he
Don't
was
get me
about to-
wrong.
he was
It's a
about
good.
to- They were about to
That was
disgrace
the
the
best.
family
That was
again
going to
by
be my
losing to that little
good.
kid
Roman
twice
beating up the
in one night.
Mysterios. I love it.
Little kid
I don't care
Dominic or
about the
Ray?
storyline. I just wanted to watch it happen.
I
Exactly.
I loved it.
That's
I, was
why.
like, I didn't expect it because I was kind of like, how are they going to lose again? I don't really
Oh.
understand. And I liked it, but I don't understand. I just don't understand why he's done it.
I just, I don't like the Mysterios right now, so I just Roman punching him in the face and then spearing him.
Yeah.
I don't understand either. I don't know where it's going to go. I think that's still to come, right? I think that's been with a lot of the Roman storylines. It takes a little bit of time to flesh out.
I think
so I hope
Roman,
there's a lot to come
Jay,
from
and
this,
Jimmy is the WWE
Usos
right
are
now. What they're
so
trying
sick,
is they're
so
going
I
for
hope
some long-term
that we can do something
storytelling,
good with it.
and it's working well so far. It's working well so far, but as we know with WWE, there's always that risk that it'll just turn left real fast, and so far it hasn't. And so I'm still invested. I'm still curious to see where it goes, but there's always that cliff right on the side of the road that at any moment they could just decide to drive right down.
Yeah.
But, so far so good.
They just need to be careful because there's going to become a point where it's too long.
Yes.
and the payoff isn't worth it because I don't care anymore. So
Well,
what I'm hoping is
the
that
Fiend, right? Exhibit A.
yeah, exactly. What I'm hoping is SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect time for some kind of payoff with the storyline.
Yeah. Be live again.
I don't know what it'll be, but and I like that though. I enjoy the fact that
point.
I don't know what's going to happen with this.
Live.
So yeah, I hope in the next 2 or 3 months we get a really good payoff with it.
Yes.
Agreed. The last two that I'm going to say here, I was going back and forth to which one would be my bad of the week. I mentioned it earlier. Liv Morgan, finally on her own, goes up against Carmella. Not sure why. Loses clean and taps to Carmella in her
Not sure
singles
there was one.
re-debut
Is
or
it-
debut
I
on the main
mean,
roster. Maybe, I don't know. But
Pretty sure. I'm
either
just gonna
way,
double
like-
check it.
what was the point of this?
Have they not got another match this week? I think so. This seems it seems like a feud, perhaps.
Them two. So they're starting a feud as cold as possible by starting a random match and saying you two
Yeah,
now
I
hate
mean-
each other and fight each other and start a feud. Why don't they have some sort of story? Why isn't there some sort of
Realistically,
backstage
though, you
something?
can have a
or-
match
Give me something
just
as to why I
scheduled
should
for
care
the
about
sake
this
of
feud, other than the
making
fact that
money
it's
that
two
week. And just say
popular
that's
wrestlers.
what it is. Yep, we've got this person versus this person because they need a payday, right? Exactly, and that's it.
Sure. Okay.
It needs to be more obvious.
Then something in the
though.
match
It
needs to
be
happen that
something when
makes
I
it.
see
And I guess
go,
was her
"Oh,
pushing her
that
head
is a
around and
bad
saying, "Who do you
move.
think you are,
That's
Liv?"
gonna
Is
end
that
up in a
enough to
story."
get a feud
If
going?
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them speak to each other, and usually something
Yeah.
can come out of it. Have a match. She picks up the mic and keeps
I
talking. Liv gets pissed off that
agree.
she's talking shit. Okay, now all of a sudden, that's enough. Instead of nothing. It's not hard. Anyways, the other thing, a couple people on this podcast like Kevin Owens. Myself very much included into that. I think everyone here is a KO mark. The pop-up powerbomb has now become
Why
one of
is
those
it
moves that he
weaker? What
does
happened?
pretty much
Does he
every
not get
match
him
to
up
anyone
as
that
high?
he
Maybe
can
they
do
could
it
say
to,
that.
and it's never a finisher anymore. How do you feel about it?
Not enough pop in that power bomb.
Say something then. Give me something. Be like, you know what? He's. I don't know. Yeah, not enough pop. That's why he moved to the stunner. I don't know. Just it becoming a setup move. It's supposed to be. It was a finisher. I don't know. If it's gonna be that, then maybe they're not wrestling enough. We don't see them enough that to the point where they could just have him win a few matches against idiots, jobbers like us, with the pop-up powerbomb, so that I believe that it
I
can
think
finish someone
the
rather than
only
me
reason
having to go watch
that it doesn't
NXT
work
from 5 years ago
anymore
to see that it's a move that
is
works. Like, I know
the
I'm
stunner
exaggerating,
is
but
his
you know what I
finisher.
mean? I just,
That's the only
Piss me
reason,
off.
realistically. That doesn't make sense to the fan who watches the content, but that's the only reason it doesn't
That's
work anymore, is because he's got another move. And what's more impactful? Because when I see the stunner, I still see it and go, "Ah, the Stone Cold Stunner." It's not the Kevin Owens Stunner.
Mm-hmm.
I still see it as almost like a gimmick. I would argue that that's to do with the selling. I think people need to sell it.
Part of
better.
it, but also
it's
the
not even as
person
good as
who's
Stone
doing
Cold's
it. I mean,
the way it
Stone
looks, to
Cold,
be
look
honest,
at him.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
Kevin Owens, like,
But I'm sorry,
I love
if
him, but
Maybe
somebody
Stone Cold.
running at you or bouncing off a rope and then out of nowhere pop you in the air, boom, powerbomb. I'm like, oh, whoa, caught them. It's as it's as impactful as an RKO for me, the pop-up
Amazing.
powerbomb, because when I see it, I'm like,
And nobody else does power bombs anymore. It's not like a
Jeepers.
common move anymore.
yeah, because you've got to do the kick first and then the stunner. And I
Stunner
feel like
used
now
to be
I've
an out of
seen that
nowhere
so many
move, but
times,
again
it's
now
not-
it doesn't feel
Yeah, I
the
don't
same.
know. I
You're
don't
right.
know. But yeah, I get your point.
It has been, yeah. It's not as fresh.
I am not sure.
Anyway,
I'm not
that was the
sure,
other
but
thing
it
I
looks
wanted
like
to
we're
bring
gonna
up
get
there,
some
and, I
clarity
just wanted
soon.
to ask
They
Wax,
did say it's
what is the
opening
Diamond
soon.
Mine?
I
What's going
can't
on with
tell
the
if
Diamond
it's a
Mine? What do you
wrestler. I can't tell if it's a stable. I can't tell if it's like
Yeah.
something. But it's
Hope so.
the overwhelming. Yeah, it's a something. The overwhelming theory, I guess, going around the Mark circles is it's something to
something.
do with someone or a group of people who have an MMA background. That seems to be the overall thought. So I don't know if it's a debut. I don't know if it's... So I have no idea what it could be at this point, but it seems we'll get some clarity soon enough.
The Diamond Mine.
Nothing yet. Yeah.
I've not seen.
Yeah, I
much
just saw that little
like,
promo,
I've
and I was
seen
like, what
this
the hell
and
is
I
this? What's
haven't-
it going to be? But I was wondering
I've
if you
read
knew
a couple
anything,
of
but
things
yeah,
about
seems
it,
like
but
that. They
nobody
didn't
seems to
show
know
much, so we'll see.
Too much about
if they are
who or
teasing
what
something, they're
or-
doing a good job of hiding it. So
Yeah.
which is weird.
Yeah.
Usually it does show up on a dirt sheet or two. Meltzer usually picks up on it or something.
Tight-lipped.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, that was my
We're back
brilliant
live
and pish
with fans.
And, that's all I.
I
have.
thought
You guys
SummerSlam.
wanna
They'd wait till
end this off with?
SummerSlam.
You guys
No,
got anything? You
it'll
guys
be
wanna
July
get some stuff off
14th
your
SmackDown, and then Money in the
chests?
Bank will be live with fans in Fort Worth, Texas.
That means we don't have to deal with another Money on the Roof
Yeah.
nonsense. I wonder actually is
Murder
that
on the
why?
roof.
Yeah, is that why they've moved Money in the Bank? Because obviously Money in the Bank should have been this month, but they've decided to do Hell
Miz
in
is
a
going to win
Cell.
it again, though.
I wonder if they've moved it so that they've actually got a Money in the Bank ladder match instead
Yeah,
of Money on the
God,
Roof
I hope
on
so.
the headquarters pish.
Oh.
That was bad.
Oh.
I'm just
And-
trying to go through my notes if there was anything else. Oh, the only other thing
Must
that
be.
I would like to mention is taking my mic off
Lads.
slowly. Just looking at
Yeah, feel
my mic, just inspecting my mic, and then throwing it in your face. Oh, this version
Oh,
of
yeah.
Seth Rollins is so good. The fact that he spent a good minute or two actually taking and inspecting the mic before he threw it in her face, great, love it. Yeah, I love it. He's so good because he just then sits there and laughs at her. He's such a good heel. I'm so excited to see what
The
he
noise
does.
that it made was funny. So much awkward noise.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
I'll take it. I love Cesaro as well. So
Lose to Cesaro?
Goodbye. I don't know.
There you
I got. I don't have any other notes or
Jason,
things to say.
send us home.
It felt good to actually care about a couple things this week because I haven't really cared about stuff in wrestling for a while. NXT maybe is the cure, perhaps. Yeah, a little bit of AEW pitched on top, and less WWE. But I just had one thing about Bobby Lashley because I think like his final form is taking shape. He's got. He's obviously a beast in the ring. He's got MVP. He's got the hose now. And, and these little innuendos he's making. He's like, Bobby was busy. He's got all these ladies, like he was running train backstage or something. But there's one thing that's missing is... They still let him speak,
Yeah,
like when they were
true.
doing that promo with Drew was really good. It was a good back and
Running
forth.
train and getting
But
brain.
they
New
just
t-shirt.
make him say like classic, like I'm gonna beat you next week. I'm better than you. Like
Yeah.
classic, like textbook garbage, like that a big strong heel would say. I wish they would go because he has kind of a funny voice when he speaks. Like if they can make him say things a la Scott Steiner-ish type stuff, and just say like these outrageous things. Sometimes the facts are wrong, whatever it may be, and then MVP always agrees with him. Like
You
he's
wanna-
right. That's right. They're gonna change in the dictionary, or they're gonna do this. They're gonna like it would just be great.
Change
And
the dictionary.
They say that all
Like,
men are
whatever-
created equal.
whatever he
That'd
says,
be
like
so
he
funny.
agrees. Like it would just
Yes.
be funny. Like a lot of memorable, funny lines that Bobby no sells, and if you laugh, he'll just destroy you. It doesn't make him like a dope because in the ring he'll still destroy you. And he doesn't care if it's wrong or right. What I say is right. He's the almighty. Whatever he says is. Even if he says the earth is flat,
Yep.
I mean, sorry.
Guess what?
Yeah,
It's flat
if he says
now.
the Earth is
Yeah.
flat, then it's flat, whatever it may be.
Did
And
you
I
have
think
to
that
just
would.
double check that the Earth wasn't flat there? Yeah. he was thinking, hang on a minute, which one is it
wait,
again?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Which
it
one's
is
the bad
wrong.
one?
But
You look at his globe.
I think that would be good because he's really good everywhere else. But I don't want to hear his canned responses like a stupid email.
We're looking at hockey
from an
pucks all
annoying
week. He's a little
employee.
confused. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, he's a legitimate badass in real life. He's an MMA fighter, IRL. So
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
like,
he's got
'cause he's the
chops
almighty,
to back it up. So
So
him
he could
versus
be like, I created the
Brock
land
is
and
something
sea
that
or
has
something.
been
I don't know. Or
floated
I
around for
did
quite
this,
a
or I
while,
was the
but
first man on the moon. Like,
either
I
way,
don't know.
you're right. He's taking his final form,
Well,
and I like
he's
it.
already the almighty, so lean into it, I guess. The blasphemous Bobby Lashley.
Blasphemous.
Blasphemous Bobby.
It's true.
Love it.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for listening to another episode of the Four Jobbers podcast. On behalf of the gas station Waxell, on behalf of Jordan El Idolo and Jason the Possessed, I am Ginger Heat. Thank you so much for listening. Follow us at the Four Jobbers on all of social media. Hello
Yeah,
at thefourjobbers.com, and we'll see you next week.